Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle Hanks. Today's video is going to be the first 3 things that we did when we decided that we were going to move from a house into an RV and do it full time. First, I'm going to give you a small backstory on us and tell you where we're coming from when we decided that this was what we wanted to do. My husband and I were truck drivers for 5.5 years before our daughter was born. We drove over the road all across the country, probably in all of the states. I think we went into all of the states. And we did that because we loved traveling. At the time, the original idea was to pay off debt, but we developed this strong desire to see the country and thoroughly enjoyed it. We would stay out for long periods of time, make a lot of money, see the country, and think of places we wanted to go back and vacation, right? After our daughter was born, when she was almost 6 years old, we decided that we were going to drive as a team again, and we found a company that allowed us to have our child on the truck with us full time. So we've been in a truck, the 3 of us, and then at the time we had 2 dogs that were with us. We still have those dogs, but we were all in this compact semi, right? Have you seen those, right? Where there's a bunk in the back. There's actually twin bunks in the back. And when we drove during that period of time from 2010 to 2014, we were team. I drove at night. My husband drove during the day. And we did travel all over the country that second time. And our daughter has been into every state except for North Dakota and Vermont. What that gave us was the ability to be basically living in a nomadic lifestyle. We've kind of already done that, right? We didn't live in an RV, but we lived in a semi, and our semi actually had a refrigerator, and it was only 1.3 cubic feet. But we also had a porta potty. It was, one of those small compact ones that people buy for camping, and we actually had a space under our bunk, and we slid it under the bunk. We joked around back then that we were actually living in an RV. So what happened is we developed an even stronger desire to travel. And when that ended in 2014, we really, really wanted to go back to that. We wanted to find a way that we could travel the country on our own terms and, yes, not be paid for it. We would like to actually have jobs while we're traveling in our RV in the future. But we decided back then that we wanted to do this again. We just didn't know what it looked like. I want to say back in August, the beginning of August, I started contemplating this idea again. And by August 23rd, I was gung-ho, obsessed with learning everything that I could about living in an RV full time. So the first 3 things that we did to kind of fine-tune this idea and really move forward with it was, number 1, can you do it financially, right? If you can't do it financially, then either give up or figure it out, right? There's a book out there, I don't know the author's name, but the title of it is Everything is Figure-Outable. And I think that that's true. The statement itself is true. If you really desire something strong enough, you'll figure out how to get it done. And I think the best part about that is it challenges you to see what you're capable of. What ended up happening for us is it started the mindset of how can we make an income out there? What kind of life do we want to live? And that thinking and those conversations, and we've had a few of those conversations in our video series called Car Coffee Chats, and I'll put a link up here to the last one that we just did. These are conversations between my husband and I where we're trying to talk through the process of this huge life change. Well, when you figure out, okay, I want to do this, so number 1, can we financially afford this? You got to figure out, are you in debt up to your eyeballs? Yes. we were in debt up to our eyeballs. We are now not in debt up to our eyeballs, but maybe we're in debt up to our shoulders. Okay? Nah, maybe to our belly. No, our shoulders. What that means is then you got to put the hard work in, and it's best if you set a goal versus just say, I want to pay my debt off, right? So number 2, figure out how you're going to accomplish the things needed in order to move forward. I mean, you're not even thinking yet what kind of RV, okay? Because really, if you don't have your debt paid down so that you have less expenses going out on the road, I just don't know how you're going to do it. I didn't start looking at RVs, like specific RVs, until later. What we did do was watch a lot of YouTube videos. When you watch YouTubers in their RVs, many times you get to see their RV, right? You start binge watching their channel, and most times people have done a tour of their RV, and you get to see what they're living in, and they talk about it. And so you kind of start absorbing, oh, well, maybe I want a Class A, maybe I want a Class C, maybe I want a fifth wheel, maybe I want a travel trailer. We didn't really decide on that, I would say specifically until recently. But in the beginning, from our truck driving experience, we did know that we were probably going to do a fifth wheel, but we left it open. Like, we made that almost committed decision, but we left it open, really. To recap, number 1, figure out if you can financially afford this. And then that leads to number 2, how are you going to get it done, right? What kind of things are you going to have to do? Do you have to sell a whole bunch of stuff? Do you need to get a second job? For me, do I go get a part-time job, right? So when we started this back in August, I didn't have a part-time job, but I own 2 businesses. The business income for those 2 is not consistent, and so I can budget somewhat, but not a consistent budget with my 2 incomes. So we had to figure out how to do this just on my husband's income. Well, moving forward, we decided we're going to sell the house. That's going to have to come within the goal period of time, but not immediately. We started this August 23rd of last year, 2019, and we knew in the beginning, we set out a 2-year goal to be mobile by September 1st of 2021. Then we started looking at, well, when are we going to buy an RV in that period of time? When are we going to buy a pickup truck, right? Like, all of these things. Finances is the first thing you've got to nail down. So number 3, I think, would be, what are you going to do about your things? Are you going to sell them? Are you going to, I don't know, selling is the first thing I can think of. But are you going to figure it out and pay your debt down so that you can go do this lifestyle through selling your house? Are you going to sell your car? Are you going to start a business? Those are the top 3 things, right? Finances, finances, and finances. Because you need to figure out if this is even something that is feasible for you. If you are so over your head in debt, but you really don't have a good paying job that can help you pay that debt down, then that's really where you're going to need to start. You're going to have to get going in that area. Maybe you push out your goal. I don't know. One of the reasons why we put a goal of 2 years out is because we started with $82,000 in debt. Well, and that doesn't even count our car loan or our house. Those are large numbers. Boy, $82,000 is a large number. But it's doable if we put our nose to the grindstone and stay focused. This month, side note, this month I decided, I'm not going to spend any money on fast food or Starbucks drinks. And so I have made my own drink. to bring in the car. But it is hard. This is something that's really hard for me because I like to spend my money however I feel I want to, and it's really fighting against those mental games of you deserve it, Michelle. Oh, I should do a whole video on that. Maybe I will. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, I encourage you to do so. We are covering all of the emotional processes, me more than my husband. In one of our previous videos, he's like, I don't really like to talk about my feelings. I make him talk about his feelings, but that's being married. I hope that as we've gone through this process and I've kind of pushed this challenge on us, that we're growing emotionally and we are definitely growing financially. We have paid off 25% of our debt at this point, just over 5 months, and it's taken a lot of hard work, but it's because we've been able to stay focused on the goal. And if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, and if this is your first one, welcome. I have put out, I think, maybe 29 videos at this point on this topic of us changing our lives. I do a lot of explaining of where we're coming from and why we decided to do this. I will put a link right up here to our very first video where I am sitting in my bedroom just chatting away about why we're choosing to do this. I think that's kind of changed a little bit, and I may do another video kind of like an update. I hope you guys have a great day, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I love it that I'm building a community of people around me that I can impact and inspire, but I also love hearing from you guys because it allows me to see that other people are going through this, and that's kind of one reason why I watch YouTube, because I want to watch other people going through this. I'm super excited about getting our RV someday so that we can actually start living in it and be stationary in the North Texas area where we live, and then we will go from there to being mobile. But the idea is to actually buy a trailer this spring because we're going to be putting our house up for sale here shortly. All right, I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell notification. When I decided to do this, I wanted to share our entire journey with other people, and I've subscribed to so many channels that have impacted me in a positive way, and that's my goal, is to share our story and impact you guys in a positive way and maybe develop our own little community.